So, Amie,
Zachary.
Avery,
Zach.
I'm somewhat of a rabble rouser of local media. I have big opinions about it. I like saying them on the internet. And I have
Not just media.
not just me. Yeah, I have a lot of
Opinions about
a lot of extraneous opinions
That's
floating
your
around in the ether.
Yeah.
But in particular about media, and I have an attaboy, a rare I think this is great thing to give out. So Iowa City's Little Village is the alt weekly. They kind of cover this. They cover arts and culture in the state more broadly, but also have a pretty excellent news coverage from their writer Paul Brennan. And all of this work happens because they have advertisers, right? They're advertiser supported. It's important to have it's the lifeblood of the publication. This is their recent edition, Bread and Butter. And I wanted to call your attention to this very cool full 2-page ad, this spread from the this copy of Bread and Butter. My guy Tim Conroy went in deep. He is a realtor, and this is not a paid advertisement for Tim Conroy at Blank and McCune. But here's the deal: if you're putting your back into local media, buying this much space with this wild of an ad, you're gonna get some love from yours truly. Tim he's doing a D&D, and I like it.
What does the description say?
Happy
it
you
says,
asked.
Call upon Tim for your next real estate quest, and what's underneath it?
In the realm of real estate, each journey is its own legend. Whether a buyer crossing a threshold, threshold, or a seller departing on another adventure, every path winds through unfamiliar territory shaped by forces seen and unseen, like the market, the invisible hand of the market. Few traverse these lands without guidance. Even the bold seek wisdom, someone who knows the terrain, who understands the signs and can read what others overlook. In the Iowa City area, that guide is Tim.
I want to play D&D.
A strategist, a steward, a mage.
Okay, this is where I think
badass.
This is actually where I think Tim gets himself into trouble. I'm concerned for our friend Tim Conroy, who's putting in the work to support local media, putting his money where his mouth is, and we'd love to see it. He says a strategist. All right, I'll buy it. A steward, perhaps he's stewarding this Blank and McCune. A mage, though.
Look at him. He's got a wand.
Look at him.
It's fighting off the dragon fire.
You're saying this excellent artist rendition of Tim fighting off another realtor, I guess. I'm curious about who the dragon. Maybe it's housing prices is the dragon.
I'm curious about who the dragon is. I'm curious about who the hippogriff is that's on his side.
I had a friend point this out to me. If you zoom in bottom left, Tim Conroy, Blank and McCune has a little symbol of a hippogriff holding a key.
That's badass.
That's his pet hippogriff. Maybe Steve. That's his pet, Steve the hippogriff, and they're going into battle together. Tim Conroy,
like an army of orcs.
Yeah, the orc army's coming for him.
We love local media. We love supporting local media, and we love a weird ad. So
this is a great ad. Yeah.
Creme de la creme, 0 notes. Tim, attaboy.
Good job,
I've
Tim.
already started writing a real estate themed D&D campaign in my head. This is
give me the act 1. What's the inciting action?
Well, I mean, obviously he said that he's the unfamiliarity of real estate. There's forces seen and unseen. I don't know. I'm imagining maybe
smelly things, really smelly basements, unseen.
Right. Maybe there's a if we want to make it anti-capitalist, we could do an Airbnb storyline where there's what the wealthy in the area are buying up all the best spots and then turning it into travel destinations rather than actual housing. And then the people actually are neighbors to the area are we don't have anywhere to live. We're all crammed in these little apartment buildings and whatnot. And then you are hired as a steward, a strategist, and a mage to help them.
Do you know what I say?
The flipper army.
Do you know what I say to that? It's a little too close. It's a little too close to reality. So I got to say silence.
That's scary a little bit.
I like it, Avery. I think it's good. I'll play it.
Hell yeah. I'm on it.
There was a person who came up to me at Cedar Valley Pride Fest this weekend, which was amazing, by the way. And this person said they listened to our podcast.
That's really
so.
sick.
Hey, Holly, thanks for listening.
Hi, Holly. Thank you for listening. We love recurring listeners.
Yay!
Welcome to Cornhole Champions, Iowa Starting Line's weekly podcast where we throw bags at the state's biggest stories. I'm Zachary Oren Smith, and happy Wednesday. Today, we're digging into an attempt to dislodge some important Iowa history and why Iowa's struggling to keep young people. But first, I need to plug another video. We're recording this on special election day. There is an election going on in Sioux City. Democrat Caitlin Dray, who you heard from last week, is taking on Republican Chris Proch. When you hear this, the ballots will have been cast and a winner will have been announced. I'll be hosting a Substack Live at 8 a.m. Wednesday morning. That's 2 hours after this video drops. To watch it, go to cornholechampions.substack.com and listen to my thoughts on the results. I'll be joined by veteran Iowa journalist Laura Bellin of Bleeding Heartland to talk about the results, and we might even hear from a special guest or two. So join us for that. It's gonna be a good time. But without further ado, I'm joined today by Iowa Starting Line's curator of chaos and keeper of the inbox, our newsletter editor, Amie Rivers. Hello, Amie.
Hello.
I can't say newsletter. I can't.
Editor.
I like it.
I like newsletter editor. It feels good.
Fuck with that.
And finally, coming up from their lab where they've been splicing together something truly ghoulish in the pod bay, Avery Staker. Hello, Avery.
Wow.
Whoa, was that the? Are you the ghoulish? Are you the ghoul we wanted to see in the world?
It's me.
For our first story, the numbers tell a story that every Iowan should pay attention to. Public school enrollment dropped again this year, down 0.63% to just 480,000 students. Meanwhile, nearly 8,000 kids are now using taxpayer money to attend private schools through the so-called private voucher program. 157 school districts are now on budget guarantees. That's 43 more than before the pandemic. That's according to a news story by the Gazette. The Gazette's writer, Grace King, and we're going to dig into it. What this enrollment drop means for Iowa communities, how districts are responding, and what it tells us about the bigger picture of Iowa's future. I wanted to start with this this concept of budget guarantees, right? So this is when a school district is when it's enrolled. So school districts receive money based on kind of how many students are enrolled in them, right? And so when their enrollment decreases slightly year over year. This is the idea is we don't want their budget to crater, right, 1 year over year. So they enter what's called a budget guarantee, right? So a total of 157 Iowa school districts are on a budget guarantee as of this new school year. That's 43 more schools on budget guarantees since before the pandemic. Budget guarantees mean these districts are losing so many students that the state is having to make up that shortfall. And what did y'all make of kind of this trend? I mean, maybe it's something you kind of already expected.
It's a combination of vouchers because obviously that's part of this, but it's also just the brain drain, the population loss that we're seeing in general.
Totally. I mean, and birth rates are down as well. I mean, there's a lot contributing to this rate. It's if you're the children of immigrants who've done a lot to support our kind of population growth over the last couple of years. Though it's also kind of a tough time to be in those households, I'm sure. There's you point, and there's a reason to explain this.
It's interesting to me that so we have the voucher program where instead of the money going directly to a school, it's going to, a family, a private actor, so they can choose what to do with it. And still the onus is on the state to fund the schools. Like they are still, instead of just like in the first place sending money to public schools, we're doing a whole roundabout where we're starving the public schools, and because we have the budget guarantee policy, they still have to send money directly to public. So we're sending money directly to people for the voucher program, and also we're still sending money to public schools.
We talk a lot here about kind of when we see big layoffs at particular industries, right? And all jobs matter. All jobs are important for keeping our society thriving. But in particular, school districts are are a particularly important sector, right, for a town. When a school district consolidates, right? I'm thinking recently of like when Hills, Iowa lost its elementary school. An elementary school, a middle school, a high school, like these are tremendous resources. And when families are thinking about where they're going to relocate for a job in the area, when they're thinking about when a new employer is thinking where they're going to put a factory, right? These resources play into those decisions. On top of that, school districts are huge employers, right? Not just teachers, but administration and staff and coaches, et cetera. And they spend money in our towns, right? These are important job creators, and to see this kind of funding lilt down following that population is troubling. I was interested in the Gazette's article that kind of pointing to the ways that some school districts are trying to adjust. One example was moving sixth grade back to the elementary building. So like right now, I think when I was in school, sixth grade was in middle school, right? So you depart the elementary school system and go to a different building for sixth grade. What they're finding is that retention rates drop the most between fifth and sixth grade, right? So as we're trying to keep students in our school districts, moving sixth grade back to the one building back, right? Suddenly that kind of helps with some of these retention rates, which is interesting.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. Is it like sort of like a psychological thing where parents are like, okay, now we can move because like we got them through elementary school or whatever, and so the district lines are different or something?
I also know that the change between, like, a lot of times sixth grade indicates the start of middle school, and that's when a lot of schools, like, if it's like a charter school or like a specializing school, like that's when you start thinking of like maybe non-public forms of education.
Yeah,
but it's also like shoving a grade back into elementary school is like, that feels like a Band-Aid on like, like it doesn't really feel like an actual solution. It feels like a way to fudge the numbers so they're not as bad.
Right.
Like,
yeah, I mean, I think Avery, I think what you're pointing out is that there's like a greater superstructure that is causing this problem, right? That's, we can arrange the furniture, but that doesn't fix the problem.
Exactly.
We've got a population loss issue in the state, and we have to figure out what we're going to do about that, whether that's we deal through consolidation or we deal through innovation. There's the status quo isn't working. Another approach mentioned in the article is kind of an interest-based school systems, right? So the notion being that some schools will specialize in specific topics such as STEM or the arts. Des Moines is reimagining kind of its education entirely with a kind of 10-year plan to kind of see through some of these kind of interest-based schools. You've seen these perform. I remember when I was growing up, the local magnet school was like a performing arts school, right?
Yeah.
So if you were a great singer or actor, right? I was none of the above. But this was like a
They
place
didn't
that
have
had
a
additional
podcast
resources.
track for you at that time.
They didn't have a loud guy. Yeah, they didn't have little boy yells at sky training ground, which sounds like the most insufferable.
That's a blind spot right there. We got to start that school.
Truly.
they contact you.
These are declining enrollments from a declining population that's putting pressure on our schools' budgets. And these schools are the lifebloods of many of our small towns. So this is a story that we'll obviously be following into the future, and one that if you have ideas about, if you have thoughts on, I hope you'll write in to Zach@iowastartingline.com. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this issue. And with that, let's take a break.